I was there, and he did raise his hand. So they did acknowledge that he asked a question. However, he didn't speak until right before they went into closed session to I think it was Commissioner Miles or some of the other commissioners.
Okay. What's up, everyone? You watch On Air Nick Jabba podcast here on YouTube. Hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. Today we have a special guest. We've got Devarus Gardner. He is running for commissioner here in Zebulon, North Carolina in November. So we're sitting down with him today to discuss that. I'd like to send a big thank you out to George Roa and Brittany Sanderford for helping me film these in collaboration with Z-Town Media. Just to mention to you guys, we did invite everyone who is running this year, and we want to thank everyone who actually came on to the podcast to actually talk to everyone here in the city. And hope you guys have a blessed day. And without further ado, let's get on with the interview. What's up, everybody? You watch On Air Nick Jabba podcast here on YouTube and Facebook, and we have a special guest today. We've got Devarus Gardner, who is running for commissioner here in Zebulon, North Carolina. Devarus, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was raised in Jones County, which is in the eastern North Carolina, which is a rural area.
Right.
So it's situated in between New Bern, Jacksonville, and Kinston. So real close to the coast.
Right on. One thing is you applied to be an interim town commissioner.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on how that has all played out, in your opinion?
It kind of played out kind of how I thought it would.
Okay.
Noticing how other appointments have gone as far as planning the board or adjustments, or even with the Parks and Rec, seeing how that went, I kind of thought, hey, I got a shot, but it may still go the same way.
Okay. How did you feel about the vote being split on that?
When it comes to the vote being split, just like with other votes that I've seen with that type, everybody has who they want to pick for those positions.
Okay.
And they stuck with those.
Okay.
Right. So it wasn't nothing new.
Okay.
But I mean, I wish more deliberation could have taken place.
Right. So you told us where you were from, but why don't you tell us a little bit about like who you are as a person?
Well, for one, I'm a Christian, and so with that, I have those Christian values, and I'm a techie.
Okay.
So when it comes to computers or electronics or even electric vehicles, that's where I like to have my little fun at.
Okay. What has gotten you interested in running for commissioner here in Zebulon?
Well, I've always wanted to be in politics, even when I was small. I mean, I even wrote a letter to President Bill Clinton at the time. So politics is something that I've always followed.
Okay.
And then being a realtor, wanting to get more in tune with what happens in this area.
Right.
And then all the different articles and different things about Zebulon, and actually watching the meetings and seeing what was taking place, I said, hey, rather being somebody's talking from the sideline, why not let's jump in and give our knowledge and expertise? Sure.
You say just jump on in, man. jump on in the frying pan, man. My granddad used to say that. So Zebulon is in the news a lot when it comes to different things that has happened with the board. What is your take on some of that?
Some of that could have been prevented with more transparency.
Okay.
If nothing else, but just explaining, hey, this is why we decided to go this route. This is why this is happening. More clarity. Because the longer you sit there and let it sit and keep processing, without saying anything, it's gonna get worse.
I understand. What are a few things that you would say you're running your campaign on? Like what would be like some of the ideas behind you running as commissioner?
Well, number one is transparency.
Okay.
One of the things I want to do that not many candidates in this country are doing is willing to sit down with their constituents on a regular basis and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is how I voted. what do you think about how I voted? What different ideas or opinions you have that could have been presented, or maybe different options?
Okay.
That's one of those things that I feel strongly about, is being available to the people and actually hearing them out.
Sure.
Another thing would be modernizing the UDO and traffic and infrastructure.
Okay.
I had a citizen tell me when I was having a conversation with him, hey, I tried to rent space in the community center. I had to call, and I had to wait for that person that actually worked for that department to be there to actually answer the call so I can get through. Right. Why not have an online system where you can set it up where you can have a calendar, show the dates, even have a payment system to even put in a deposit, and then follow up with them to get more details, making it quicker and easier for the citizens of Zebulon.
Do you feel like the current administration does a good job at letting citizens know when the meetings are, what is happening? There's been a lot of complaints on one side regarding, they wait a while before they'll wait till like day of to tell people about a meeting, or they tell people when it's a little bit later. Do you feel like they do a good job now, or do you feel like that could be improved?
I've seen some improvement with it as far as how soon they get it done, but we could do it. We can do it faster. Okay. We can do it more efficiently and get it out in more channels.
Sure. And one thing I wanted to mention was, do you think the commissioners are effective leaders now? They haven't been able to appoint a commissioner for months at this point, and they still haven't had the minutes updated from previous meetings last year. So do you think they're effective, or?
I think that the commissioners are doing the best that they know how. Okay. But that may not be what's best for the town. Okay. There's different efficiencies and things of that nature that can help. I know they had mentioned that they had using AI to kind of do the minutes, so we're working in the right direction to improve.
Okay. That's fair. Did you happen to see Jessica Harrison and Shannon Baxter's interview?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the commissioners, kind of openly admitting they didn't deliberate when it came to this commissioner situation, the temporary one? Do you think that the commissioners should deliberate on most issues? Because, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Deliberation for any topic of value is key to effective government and leadership. Sure. So if you can't discuss the little things, why should we expect you to do something big?
Sure. So you feel like they should have probably deliberated on that?
Even if they came to the same conclusion where it was a tie vote, explaining, hey, this is why I think this person would be better suited.
Sure. What's something that you would have done different if you were commissioner the last 4 years?
The last 4 years, I would have looked at modernization. So one thing about the UDO is that it's been a document that constantly changes, but when commissioners have a vote on, let's say, for instance, the townhouses across the street. Okay. They noticed after it was built that the houses were too close to the road. Right. But have we had a UDO, have we went in and cleaned up the UDO to prevent that from happening in other developments? Because there's also another development, I want to say on Bun Road, that's going to be a similar use case where they're going to have the doors situated that way.
Okay. That's very interesting. My mom jokes about it sometimes, and she says, man, I hope they don't trip out the front of her house going in the road, But what would you fix about the way the town has ran right now if you were a commissioner and you had the ability to change some certain things?
One of the things that I would really want to tackle would be infrastructure. Okay. I know there's plans to get things done, but the longer we wait on them, the more expensive they become.
Okay.
I would love to speed up getting the sidewalks done, or even with some of the road widening projects that are needed to prevent traffic, because we're growing faster than we can catch up to.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. There was an Indy article recently that was in the papers online. It was, and it mentioned that Milton was at the last meeting was looking to rescind his application, and for some reason or another, whether the commissioners knew it or not, he wasn't allowed to speak and mention that. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I read this. I read this and I just thought it was pretty wild. What's your thoughts on that?
I was actually at that meeting.
Okay. So
I was there.
Okay.
I was there, and he did raise his hand, and the work session is normally not a meeting where the public speaks. Mm-hmm. So they did acknowledge that he asked a question. However, he didn't speak until right before they went into closed session to, I think it was Commissioner Miles or some of the other commissioners.
Okay.
So I read the article, and if he's chosen to jump out of that race, then we should let him out if that's what he wants, right. Especially if it's for the good of the town.
Sure. To
make sure we can get a commissioner in.
Yeah, I just thought it was a pretty wild read in the paper, that somebody, But I appreciate you clearing that up. Thank you. Did you watch the Gilbert Todd interview?
Yes, I did.
What do you think about his hiring and his resignation?
His hiring was, I'd look at it from this perspective. Most time when you're trying to hire somebody, you want to hire the most qualified.
Sure. But
in some cases, there's people that are qualified to do the job or even have the potential to do the job. And my thing is somebody saw something in him enough to give him opportunity.
Sure.
It's just that for some reason the circumstances went awry. He may not have been given what he necessarily needed to succeed.
Sure. That makes sense. What do you think of how the Deacon Development Zebulon South situation was handled?
I think it exacerbated the bad reputation that Zebulon has been getting here over the past few months.
Okay.
Actually, a year and a half. I think that conversations should have been had. There were opportunities to be had as to what didn't work for this development.
Sure.
When it came to the affordable housing, Deacon Development had already come up and said, hey, we'll do these many houses. They came back later on and said, we're taking those off the table. And even still, it was another 3-4 times that they got up and presented where there was an opportunity where if there was something wrong with that project, someone should have spoke up and said, hey, I think this is what else would help further this project along. I think waiting until, I think a lot of the issue was voter fatigue of hearing that project. They had been up, Deacon Development had been up there at least 5 times to speak about that project. And, I'm at home watching it as it transfolded, and I'm like, looking at the faces like, y'all are really tired of hearing this about this same project.
Yeah.
You're tired, and you can kind of tell by the way it was perceived by some of the commissioners. So I wish more would have been said up front during the process to where we wouldn't have had to take that hit on reputation. We wouldn't have had to even get lawyers involved. This could have been done civilly.
Right. I think that's a great answer. All right, so tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, my mom's she's a retired nurse. My father was a sheriff of our county at one point, but he also has done at least 30 years of volunteer rescue.
Okay.
So he pretty much, any free time he has, if a call comes in, he'll drop whatever it is and go help those in the community.
That's awesome.
So that's where I learned that sacrifice and community service from.
Very cool. Very cool. So how long, you mentioned you were from Jones County?
Jones County, yes.
Now, how long have you been in town here in Zebulon?
Been in Zebulon this year, we made 4 years.
Nice. Very cool.
So I've seen the growth. I've seen the troubles or hiccups. So I've seen a lot within those 4 years.
Absolutely. So your name is not going to be the only one on the ballot in November. What differentiates you and would be a reason people would vote for you instead of any other candidate running for commissioner this upcoming election?
Well, this town needs a different viewpoint. One thing about being a realtor is you get to talk to people to find out what it would take for them to move to Zebulon. Some people say it's too country. There's not enough there. There's no downtown. It's not walkable. So you get to hear all those different ideas.
Sure.
And being a part of the commissioner, you have the ability to work out those issues to make Zebulon the place where people want to be. Also, being a workforce analyst, one of the problems that we've had recently was the openings that we had.
Okay.
So understanding work culture, being more efficient, understanding what it takes to have people work for the town of Zebulon, what they need as far as those benefits. How can we be more efficient with the people that we have? Because we always hear when it comes budget time, we need more in parks and rec. We need more police. We need more. But what's the actual real number that it would actually take to get us where we need to be now and set us up for the future?
That's awesome. So you're saying specifics, have really nailing down that specific number and stuff.
We have to. Otherwise, we're throwing money at a problem and we're wasting money. We have to become efficient, effective, and we have to modernize what we do. Nobody wants to come into a place that's old and really wants to call it home.
Right.
Everybody wants to put their own touches on it.
Sure.
Especially companies. Like, I really want to have it to where we promote Zebulon.
Okay.
By promoting Zebulon, we can do it even through our communications. One of the things that's in the budget is there's an internship for the youth.
Okay.
Why not take one of the youth and have them work with the communications director? That youth may have the idea of being a content creator.
Sure.
Because that's one of the popular jobs that's out there now.
Sure.
Why not give them another viewpoint of, if this doesn't work out, you can use those skills helping the community and spotlighting what's good in the community. I think we should be selling the good things about Zebulon. We've had enough bad press. It's time for some good heartfelt stuff. Maybe we can do something silly. We can highlight local businesses to get them out there, because there's a lot of corporations out there that are looking to expand outside their normal markets.
Okay.
Why not reach out to them and say, hey, we're Zebulon. We're right here down the road from Raleigh.
Right.
We're around a lot of different areas. We're at a place where we're the gateway into Wake County. We're right here on 264 and 64, where everybody has to come through here. Why not stop here and put up shop?
Absolutely. Well, Devarus, it has been a pleasure to talk to you today. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
And hey, anytime you feel like, come back on. And I really enjoyed talking with you, sir.
It's been a pleasure.
Have you have a great day.
You too.